All right, welcome to the second part of static stretching. And for this static stretching routine, what we're going to be utilizing is a wall. If you don't have a wall, you can use a couch, a bench, even a pole. If you have a squat rack, you can get your leg up against it. You just need something that you can drive into, and that helps change our position and we can create some more force. So the first thing we're going to do is two parts. It's a couch stretch. You've probably done it before, but there's two components to it. So what we're going to do first, you're going to get your knee kind of as close as you comfortably can against the wall here with my right foot. I'm going to bring it out in front. And then I'm going to try to drive my left hip into the ground while squeezing my left glute. So this is the first part of the stretch. So we're hanging out here, about 5 big deep breaths. Try to drive into that hip. Keep working it lower and lower to the ground. Keep that glute squeeze. I know it's hard. It kind of wants to back off, but you really want to keep it engaged, and that'll get the kind of hip flexor to turn off. So it's reciprocal inhibition. Then from here, what we want to do is actually come up. So now we're going to focus more on the quad. I don't want you to change your hip position though, so keep this in that spot you achieved, and we're coming up from there. Then from here, 5 big deep breaths in. We're going to bring our arm up, and we're going to try to get as tall as we can with each breath. Going up. Good. Again, we're breathing in through our rib cage. Get as tall as you can. Don't let it come back down when you exhale. And up. Exhale. Breathe into that hip, keep that glute squeeze. Remember, we're trying to load back into the quad now. One more. Good, we're going to come back down, then we're going to switch sides. So now we're getting the right leg up there. Again, knee as close to the wall as you can get, foot back flat. If you have a couch, obviously your foot's going to kind of hang over, that's fine. If your foot starts to cramp, you're going to want to back off the wall a little bit. So again, we're driving into the hip flexor first. Just try to sink this into the ground. You can use your hand here for support. Squeeze your right glute this time, really trying to engage, get that hip flexor to turn off. And keep driving down and try to keep everything lined up, right? Your foot should be right behind your hip as you're driving into the ground. And from here, right, keep that hip in the same position. We're coming up tall. We're going to get into the quad. Bring the arm up above your head, and then deep breaths here. Get tall, exhale. Again. Exhale. A little more. Good. Keep trying to work back. If you can keep that hip flexor in a safe position, do it. Good. We're going to back down from there. Now we're going to spin around, and we're going to use the wall to put our feet up on it. So what we're going to do next is a Piriformis Stretch. So you're going to be here, get pretty close to the wall, but you want to be close enough that your knees are bent at 90, right? Don't get too close. For this one, we're going to get closer later. So what we're going to do our left leg first. You're going to bring your left ankle and your actual ankle bone on top of your right thigh here, and then you're going to try to sink your hips into the ground. As you do that, you're going to pull your left foot towards you, create a little tension through there, and you're going to feel it kind of light up into your IT band there. If you want to, with your left hand, you can push this away. So we're here. Make sure you keep your low back flat. So your tailbone should be pinched into the ground. Don't let it round up this way. Deep breaths in. If you want a little more, you can push your heel off of the wall, so drive your toe into it. That brings your leg a little closer to you, and then again, sit your pelvic bone down, your tailbone down, and then deep breaths into that hip. All right, and the next side. If you notice that was too easy, you can get a little closer to the wall for this next one. Again, now we're going to put our right ankle on our left quad here. And then we're going to flatten our low back, so make sure your low back and hips stay in contact with the ground. Again, we're going to pull our right foot towards us this time, kind of push away a little bit with our right hand on our right knee, and then deep breaths in. And then if you want to push your toe off again, get your leg a little closer to you. As long as you can keep that low back flat, that's what we're going for. Good. So we got a little bit into the piriformis there. So it's a muscle sits right above our sciatic nerve. So sometimes when people have sciatic nerve pains, it's actually caused by that piriformis muscle. Next thing you're going to do, I'm going to have you get as close to the wall as you can. So it's easy if you just get right up to it. And then we're going to swing into this position so we can get our hamstrings right up against the wall. So we're here. If you need to get a little closer with your elbows once you're in this position, that's fine. If this still isn't enough of a stretch, what you can do is you can put a foam roller up against the wall, kind of pin it with your legs. But what you want to make sure with this, your toes are back towards you, so your feet are as kind of flat as you can. And then you want to keep your legs kind of locked out. So engage your quads a little bit so your back of your knees are flush against the wall. And then from here, what you're trying to do is drive your feet away from you with every breath and your hands above your head. So we're going to do 5 big breaths here. Hands go away, feet go away. A lot of space is created. Exhale, keep that space. Do it again. We're driving up. Even more. And we're going to do 3 more breaths. For this one, though, I want you to turn your feet towards each other. So your feet are this way. I want your big toes to look at each other this way. And we're going to do a few more breaths. So try to hold that as hard as you can. And again, breathing in. Get tall. Exhale. Keep that height. Driving away. Good. One more big one. Those toes pointed. Good. All right, so we got a nice little hamstring stretch there. Now I know a lot of people thought the main thing of this mobility challenge was to do the splits. This is the closest you're going to do to the splits, but you're not going to rip anything, I promise. So what you're going to do now is from this position, without getting your butt away from the wall, you're going to walk your heels out as far as they'll go. And you want to make sure your toes still stay pointed back towards you and you don't let your feet kind of turn out to the side. So they're still trying to kind of keep your big toes pointed towards each other. If you want to, you kind of pull your leg off the wall, walk it out a little farther, and then we're going to hang out in this position. So again, doing about 5 big breaths. You want 30 seconds. You can hang out for a minute. Once you get the flow, you can kind of do this on your own, hang out as long as you want. For the purpose of this, we're going quick. And then again with this one, we're doing big, deep breaths in. And with this one, I'm going to have you add a little kind of floor slide with it. So we're doing deep breath. Reach out. Exhale, bring them back. So we're inhaling, driving the hands up. Exhale, pull them back down underneath you. Again, inhale, get long. Exhale, pull them back down. So 2 more. Big breath in. Slide those hands up. Exhale, pull them back down. All right, so wherever you ended up from here, the last one we're going to do is a deep squat. So I want you to kind of bring your feet in as close as you can from this position. You're going to try to get them as close to your butt as possible here. And then what we're going to do is try to keep your toes in contact with the wall. So don't let your feet turn out. And then you're going to try to drive your hips out from this position. So keep your toes anchored, and we're just pushing the hips out, letting those things open. Just like you did with the piriformis, I want you to try to keep your tailbone in contact with the ground as much as you can. Don't let your back round up this way. If this is too much, right, bring your feet up and we'll go from there. But I want you to keep working them down as close as you can get them underneath you, and then we're just opening this up. Keep those big toes anchored. We're going to let the hips flare out a little bit. Just use the weight of our arms to pull down, and then again, big breaths in here. Pull your belly all the way up. Exhale. See if you can open the legs a little wider. Deep breath in. Exhale. Keep those toes anchored. Kind of fighting it. You're going to feel it almost in the bottom of your feet. One more big breath. Fill up that chest. Fill up that belly. Exhale. Let those legs hang open. All right. So that's the basics of it. So we got our hip flexor first with the couch stretch. Right, we're into that. We got a little bit of the quad. Then we got the piriformis, we got our hamstrings, and then we got into our adductors, and then kind of a general hip opener one at the end. So hopefully you feel a little better after that. Should take about 6-7 minutes depending. You can go longer if you want. You can go shorter, but hopefully you utilize it however works best for you. Thank you.